Welcome to the basement.
This is a UFC Hall of Famer, Ken Shamrock, and you're listening to the Basement Boys Podcast. Enjoy. God bless. Happy holidays.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Basement Boys Podcast. I am Chris Gray. That is Eric Mincer. And finally, the return of the prodigal son himself, Devin Mitchell.
Yay! Yo, what's up, everybody? How you been? It's been a hot minute.
Yo, I'm so fucking excited.
Welcome back. Yeah, so first and foremost, let's just get the elephant out the room. No, I'm not dying of COVID. I had a baby girl. Yeah, so had a baby girl, and it's been taking up most of my time. She's already ready to kick some ass, and one day she might make a guest appearance on the podcast.
Now that you're a dad, hit us with a dad joke.
Oh man, right off the bat.
Hell yeah.
All right. Walking up to the airline ticket counter, lady goes, aisle ticket. Oh my God, I fucked it up already.
What the hell, Dev?
It's okay. He's only been a dad for a month. He's new at this.
It's true. Oh shit, yeah. Anyway, let me start over. Walk up to the airline ticket counter. Woman behind the counter goes, window or aisle? I go, window or aisle what?
Oh, God. The best dad jokes are the one you have to think about for a split second, and then you're just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, as a dad, you know he wants that second of just like, wait a minute, they're piecing it together. There it is.
Wait. I'm not going to help you. You got to get there on your own. There you go.
Yeah, so congrats, Dev.
Thank you.
All right, so let's jump in to the big news of the week.
We're going to start off with some NFL football. In case you guys didn't know, we're Jet fans, and
The Jets won a football game!
we're very, very emotionally. We're all over the place with this. We waited 24 hours, let it marinate, let our minds get used to the idea that the Jets have one win. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now officially on the clock.
I'm sorry I yelled at everyone, but it had to be done.
Yeah,
You're not the only Jets fan that was yelling at everybody.
Rest in peace, headphone users, after that one.
Yeah. Sorry.
So, we put it out there on the Twitterverse, on the Instagrams, on the face chat, and whatever Bill Belichick made up. We asked our fans to tell us how they feel about this. We had some great calls, taking all sorts of angles on the Jets beating the Rams, which, honestly, the Rams, I don't know what to make. You're a playoff team that just lost to the Jets. A little weird.
So let's get started. This first one, I'm not exactly sure where he's located. I'm guessing somewhere more south of us. You'll understand in a second. But I might have to fly out and fight him. So let's get to it.
Hey, this is Rob from Sports Bliss with Rob and Chris. I'm calling in tonight as a Jags fan, not a Jets fan. I just want to thank the Jets for an early Christmas present and the number 1 draft pick. I'm out.
My guy, Chris. Good name, terrible human.
All right, well, Jags, I guess Merry Christmas. You're welcome for Trevor Lawrence.
I would just absolutely love for the Jags to win a game and then have this motherfucker keep the same energy. Nah, Chris, thank you for calling in. I'm just fucking around. But yeah, I still might have to fight you.
Well, I think Jags fans got to be really happy. You got James Robinson's looking like a good running back. You got Chenault and DJ Chark, 2 good LSU receivers. Now you're going to have your franchise quarterback.
I mean, the stash ain't the way.
Yeah, no.
Nah, man. Him and his Honda Accord might have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, Minshew Mania is going to be like Linsanity. It had its moment. It was hot.
It was fun.
Then it's over.
And yeah, now that's just the end of that.
But you know what's crazy is how fast the Jacksonville Jaguars fell off. Like, it's only like, what, 2-3 years ago? AFC Championship game. Things are looking up for them. And now, shit, they're getting Trevor Lawrence.
Well, everyone from that team's gone. I mean, it was Bortles, Fournette on the offense. The defense was Ramsey, gone. Fowler, gone. Calais Campbell, gone. Like, Yannick Ngakoue, which is like
Gone.
the coolest name to say. That whole team from 5 years ago is gone.
Yeah, they're just. At least the Jets, you have a couple people where you're like, like Mims is showing some promise. Quinton Williams is showing some promise. Mekhi Becton, like, yeah, they have a couple receivers that they're looking at right now and stuff like that. But I really, on that team, I can't think of anyone who I'm just like, you know what, that's like a building block for sure for the future.
For the Jags?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think they got some on offense. I think
James Robinson.
James Robinson, yeah, like I just
duh.
said, Chenault, Shark, they have some players on offense. On defense, they have the other Josh Allen, the linebacker.
right.
Yeah, so he's been out this whole year. I think he comes back, and I mean,
I agree on James Robinson. The other two I'm not 100% sold on yet, but that's also look who's throwing to them. So,
right.
like we could have,
And
with a better quarterback, we could have more to see from them.
And I think it's completely possible that the Jets-Jags tank-off will be something we see again. These are two very inept franchises.
True.
You don't think one of them's going to sneak 2 wins out of next season?
Maybe. We'll see.
I mean, I honestly have a lot of faith in Joe Douglas, so we'll see where that lies. Let's move on. We'll take another call, this time from Eric's friend, Cole, out of Mount Kisco.
My boy Cole.
So I'm Cole from Mount Kisco, New York. I'm one of Eric's best friends. And my comment about the Jets is, I'm sorry. Like, as a Giant fan who wanted Chase Young, I know exactly how you guys feel. I still hope Pat Shurmur dies in a fiery hell. But to the Jets now. I think this is going to require a big question as part of the Jets. And you guys know this because I've seen your podcast and you guys are both Jet fans. The question is it Sam Darnold now or is it Fields? Now, if it is Fields, it's obvious you go with the new quarterback because you don't like Sam Darnold. If it's Darnold, your question becomes more complicated. Now it is, I have a quarterback. He needs a new coach because Gase is terrible, and we need to put weapons around him. And not just receivers or tight ends or stuff like that. You need to actually put a whole team around him now. He needs a defense. He needs a running game because Frank Gore is a grandpa. So I think that's the problem for you guys going forward. And who knows, it might not be a problem. I mean, if you trade back, you will get a lot more draft picks. You already have a lot of draft picks because of the Seattle pick. And I don't know. I mean, it's still bad. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this sucks, guys.
Thanks for the call, Cole.
Yeah, and I agree with them. Like, it's opened up so many more questions, and it shut down the one answer. As I've been saying on the podcast, this is kind of the way I thought they should go to begin with, is just trade out of the pick and stick with Sam. Part of me still is now thinking, like, a change of scenery might be good for him. But if Joe Douglas can bring in a quality coach, like Eric Bieniemy, like, I really think Rex Ryan should get another crack at the league. I would love that.
We're bringing Rexy back.
I
Oh
would
my goodness.
love to.
That would be amazing.
Nah, you never text your Rexes.
Oh my God. One of us becomes a dad, and all of a sudden the dad jokes start flying from everybody.
It's contagious.
We don't joke about that.
But yeah, just if that's the case, I know there's a lot of hype on Fields, and I know he's probably going to come into the league and be a good quarterback. But I think if not Trevor Lawrence, we have someone at that caliber. If we get a coach that can actually develop him, I would rather trade back and get the picks.
I would like to see the Jets take Sine Powell. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing it right, but the offensive lineman from Oregon. You have him, and you have Becton. You have a healthy Mims, Crowder, Perriman. Darnold will actually maybe be able to step into a new coach's system and have something. And I agree with you, Cole. Frank Gore is going to – he's obviously not going to be with the team next year. He's just – he's at the end of his career. His son might be playing in the NFL very soon, which is kind of cool. But I got a question for you, Dev.
What's
Do
up?
you, as a Giants fan, also want to see Pat Shurmur die in a fiery hell?
Yeah, don't even mention Pat Schumer's name around me. Like, fucking idiots. No, actually, no. He's not a fucking idiot because that's the case right there. Because
You're not wrong.
no, but I swear, like, the Jets have just been one big dumpster fire all season. I'm sorry, but when you, for whatever reason, have Lev Bell in your backfield and you're only going to use him sparingly because he's quote unquote coming off injury, and even when he's healthy, you're going to be like, all right, we'll give the ball to Frank Gore. Listen, I love Frank Gore. He's the ageless wonder. I want him to keep playing for a couple more years so that him and his son, Frank Gore Jr., can be in the league together, hopefully on the same team. But still, why are you going with like the old veteran Frank Gore instead of the young talent? And then even when you realize the season's out of reach, you're still leaning on the veterans instead of looking at the future and trying to see what we got, who's going to be on the team next season, who's playing for another job somewhere else. Like, it just makes no sense. That I'm sorry, it was a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I
think the word to describe that is tanking. And we didn't do that right, but
yeah, but
we'll get into that.
But players don't tank, coaches don't tank. Like, Joe Douglas was probably like fucking cursing Gase out after the game. Don't get me wrong.
Coaches can tank. I mean, we see,
You know, not one that was already on the hot seat coming into this year that no one wanted him to come back, and Christopher Johnson's just a fucking moron.
That's true. That's true. Should we play the other two Jets calls before we go all the way off?
Oh, we have three.
Three more.
Ooh.
Okay.
Lucky number 3.
All right, let's keep it negative. We're going to ride this negative train out real quick.
Yeah, we got varying opposing views on this Jets win over the Rams.
Not many opposing views. Most are very one way. But we are going to bring you the return of Papa Gray.
The name is Brian Gray. I'm from Howell, New Jersey. I am quite upset that the Jets don't know even how to lose properly. So we get this win. We're going to be out of the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes unless something miraculous happens. And just what being a Jet fan is all about. I'll take your comments on that one. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Leaving
Merry
it
Christmas,
on a
Papa Gray.
positive note. But yeah, he's not wrong. Jets just can't. Jets can't stay out of their own way. I knew this was going to happen at some point.
I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, that's a whole nother level of bad when you lose so much that you're in a contest to be the worst, and you still come in second because you lose the contest of being the worst.
Yeah.
That's just how bad it is. You couldn't even be the worst team, right?
And it's just the stupid strength of schedule argument is just like, because it's like we're at like our opponent's winning percentage is at like a 5.82 and theirs is at like a 5.39.
Yeah, I don't understand the tiebreakers. I just know that we got fucked by them.
It's strength of schedule.
Yeah.
Look, if Brady didn't go to Tampa Bay, Jets still would have the number 1 pick. So fuck Brady because he fucked the Jets again.
Wait, I don't understand how that's
Brady's.
I don't understand how that's Brady's fault.
Sorry, because I'm saying Brady was in the Patriots still. That's 2 more games that they probably would have. Patriots would have won more games and that would raise their strength of schedule.
That would have made our strength of schedule more, which would put us even further out of the lead. So if anything, we would need need Jacksonville to play Kansas City like 3 more times.
If anything, we need the Patriots to be worse.
Yeah.
My mistake. I got it backwards.
Yeah. So if anything, fuck you, Cam, for playing well for a couple of weeks.
You dick.
Just kidding.
All right. Now we're going to pass it off to, actually, more of my family, my uncle.
Here we go.
Ooh.
I think you guys can see how this is trending about how my family feels about this whole situation. But let's bring it on back.
Hey, Chris, it's Henry back up in Brewster. That Jet game made me sick to my stomach. I was talking to my friend Evan Karras. When they scored, I said every New York Jets fan just threw up. Just unbelievable. Typical Jets. always killing us. Take care, Ben.
Listen to just the sadness in that man's voice.
Rightfully
Yeah,
so.
that just sounds like you're defeated and there's no hope for you. Like, no matter how hard you're trying, you're like, no, this is it.
You got to understand though. These are two guys who have been Jets fans since '68.
Yeah.
Like even before, probably from right when they changed from the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, you'll hear in the last call and the next call also a longtime Jets fan, but that the way your uncle spoke is how I feel. Just sick knowing that, yeah, if we're going to be bad, might as well go all the way with it. Make sure we get Trevor. Make sure we have that number 1 pick, and we couldn't do that.
Well, we'll get into our feelings on it in just a minute.
Yes, because I think our last phone call has the opposite point of view of celebrating a victory.
True. Let's check this one out.
Guys, it's Uncle Richie from Westchester, and I want to make some comments about the Jets. First, I do want to mention that I enjoy listening to your podcast. You guys are doing great stuff. Back to the Jets. I don't understand why everyone is so upset that they won a game. I think it's great. So you might not get Trevor Lawrence, but it doesn't really matter. Nothing is going to turn this team around. They have mediocre receivers, a bad offensive line, a coach that doesn't have a clue, and a running back who's collecting Social Security. I've been a fan since I was a kid, and Joe Namath promised us a Super Bowl. And they won it, and that was the end of the highlight reels. I have seen many players come in who are supposed to turn this team around, like Brett Favre, Santonio Holmes, Mark Sanchez from USC. And what did we get from him? A butt fumble. And how about when they brought back Darrelle Revis? How did that work out? And then, of course, there was Sam Darnold, who went crazy in his first game. Remember when they beat the crap out of the Lions? Jets fans were lining up to buy Super Bowl tickets after game 1. So let me tell you, in 50 years of following the Jets, I have learned that you have to embrace the little things, like getting across midfield or getting into the red zone when we know we're going to get a field goal. So enjoy the win over the Rams. It's better than going 0-16. And as a longtime Jet fan, let me remind everybody of 5 words that you should always remember when you root for the Jets. Never get your hopes up. That's it. This is Uncle Richie from Westchester signing out. Enjoy the holiday season. Bye-bye.
All right. Now that we got to the calls, let's actually get into this. I feel like Richie. I feel like, look, it's the Jets. No matter what we do, no matter what player we pick up, we're going to ruin them. So why kill Trevor Lawrence's career? We already killed Sam's. Might as well keep him here. Let him get paid a little bit. It's just, the one thing I've always had to hold over everyone else is we are not, at the very least, one of the teams who went through a season without winning a game, and I can still hold on to that. We're not going to a Super Bowl. We're not doing these things. We're a trash organization. As long as the Johnsons own the team, we're fucked. Unless they can get out of their own way, which these like super millionaire guys would never do that because their egos are so big because they have all this money, so they think they're the best at everything.
You see,
Nothing we do is going to change that.
I agree. I agree that there's a lot with the ownership, the way that just the franchise is ran. That's terrible. But Trevor Lawrence is just a different caliber of prospect. Where I think, like, Cole called and talked about Justin Fields, and I think Justin Fields could be a good player. I just think there's like a chance he becomes a bust. I think Trevor Lawrence is like one of the more surefire picks of the last like dozen years, and we're gonna see him go into the Jaguars. Like we said, he has a couple of weapons. And what's gonna bother me so much about this, and I agree with like, your dad that we want him, is because in 4 or 5 years from now, there's a chance Trevor Lawrence is an MVP. Maybe he's not winning Super Bowls because the Jaguars are the Jaguars, but if he's out there winning MVPs, if he's playing in playoff games with Jacksonville, are we going to look back at this and be like, yeah, but at least we beat the Rams?
But like Richie just said, and I agree to you, I would want Trevor Lawrence at this point, but like Richie just said, we said the same thing with Sam Darnold. We said the same thing with Mark Sanchez. We said the same thing when we brought Darrelle Revis back. We said the same thing when we drafted Chad Pennington. It's just, they don't do, like,
Right.
Something always gets in their way. They'll get to the AFC Championship game, maybe, but then they'll fuck it up.
Well, we were talking about coaching and replacing Gase, do you think a coach that's coming into this is going to want to see Darnold at quarterback or Trevor Lawrence? Because I feel like if you're Eric Bieniemy and you're going to leave Patrick Mahomes, you want to make sure, like, okay, I'm coming into a new system. Trevor Lawrence is coming in. We're going to start something. We're going to be the new Brady Belichick. Whereas now, if we want to get Bieniemy, he's saying, okay, well, we have Darnold. We know what we've got from Darnold, and it's not him starting with his guy. I think it's going to be a lot more attractive because Jacksonville's probably going to need a new coach. And I think any offensive-minded coach is going to look at Trevor Lawrence going to Jacksonville and say, I want in.
Well, hold on. I don't know if Jacksonville's going to need a new coach because I'm pretty sure Doug Marrone should have been fired like 5 times by now. And yet he still keeps coming back.
But
same with Gase.
Also at the same time, a great quote by actually Rex Ryan that I heard the other day. If they need to come in and need the perfect situation, the perfect quarterback, the perfect receivers, blah, 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 they're not the guy. You don't want a guy who's going to come in and be like, I'm only going to do well if everything's perfect for me.
I'm not saying perfect, because if we take the Jets plus Trevor Lawrence, it's far from perfect. What I'm saying is if you're a coach, you want to have your guy. Not necessarily perfect, like the way Andy Reid took over the Chiefs and then he drafted Mahomes. I'm saying you want to be able to say, I'm putting in my offense, and this is the guy I want to go in the offense.
But I understand that, but you still have – there are still other quarterbacks out in the thing. If they really want to, like, start over from Sam Darnold, they believe, like, the new coach coming in believes Sam Darnold's not the guy, and I'm sure coming in, him and Joe Douglas will make sure they're on the same page with that. They still have their choice. Like, it's not like we drop down to – it's not like we're Devin, who dropped from, like, the 4th to, like, the 19th pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, I'm so torn right now as a Giants fan, but we could save that for the next segment and whatnot.
We will definitely talk about the Giants in a little bit.
So he still has the pick of every other quarterback. Justin Fields is pick. There's that kid from
BYU.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, who's been going off. Everyone thinks he's going to be a stud too. Like,
there's also the quarterback from Florida, Kyle
Trask.
Yep.
I would like to think that the Jets would do what you said and trade down, because I think there are other teams that are more desperate for a quarterback, like the Washington football team. If Alex Smith is seriously injured, you're not going forward with him. Dwayne Haskins just was seen partying without a mask. Like, you got to question his devotion to the team. If they're going to be a playoff team and he's suspended because he was out at a strip club without a mask, maybe the Washington football team trades up because they want Trey Lance or Zach Wilson. So I think the Jets should try to trade the pick.
Yeah, I agree. And plus, like, you can say what you want to say. Oh, we've seen enough from Sam Darnold. We've never seen Sam Darnold with a quality coach. First, I didn't think Bowles was as terrible as some people made him out. Obviously, bad in clock management, but he's a defensive coach in a league that's turning offensive, and you shouldn't have a defensive coach to try to develop your rookie quarterback. And then he got moved directly into Gase in his second year.
Right. Okay, that's valid, because you saw what happened when Tannehill left Gase and joined the Titans and became a star.
And if you listen to everyone, like if you listen to like Dan Orlovsky or Matt Hasselbeck on these shows talk about it, Sam Darnold does have all the talent that you'd want. Like, he's shown the little things. It's the little decision making things. It's the one or two little things that, if you have the right coach, can be changed. I'm not saying he's going to go in and be the next Patrick Mahomes 1 year under Eric Bieniemy, but I think if you give him someone who actually is worth a damn to try to develop a quarterback, Sam still has. I'd take Sam over like Justin Fields or the BYU.
What year is Darnold in?
This is year 3.
Yeah, so he's going into 4.
So he went from Todd Bowles to Adam Gase, and then even more shitty Adam Gase. So
And he also.
I was going to say, he hasn't had a consistent coach, haven't had a consistent offensive coordinator, and on top of that, had an abysmal offensive line. Like, I know the kid's trying, but it's kind of hard to succeed when it's just a shitstorm all around you.
You can't do everything by yourself.
He also hasn't been healthy for a whole year. Maybe his rookie year, I don't know if he started all 16 games, but I know obviously last year he had mono. He was hurt this year with a shoulder injury. So, I mean, you're kind of talking me into it, Chris. I'm not going to lie. You're making good points here where maybe I still think we should take the lineman from Oregon, whose name I cannot pronounce. You let him and Becton anchor the offensive line. Darnold, I think with the Seahawks pick, which is going to be like between 20 and 25 or whatever in that range, if Najee Harris out of Alabama is available, you get a playmaker in the backfield, maybe something happens.
I would say running back for at least a second round. I would try to get an edge rusher with that Seattle pick.
Okay.
Make it so Sam's not always playing from behind. Be able to get some pressure on the quarterback. We've needed an edge rusher since Abraham.
Yeah.
I was going to say, though, I like Eric's idea of getting the linemen because you look at what they were doing when they had Sanchez those first couple years, that offensive line was pretty damn solid.
Yeah.
And everyone knows if you have a good offensive line that can give you just a little bit of time where you're like, oh, hey, I could actually go through my reads instead of saying, hi, oh, shit, there's someone in my face. It makes a world of a difference.
Look at Lev Bell. I think he's the perfect case for this. He goes from the Steelers, usually year in, year out, top 3 offensive lines. That's something that Tomlin puts a lot of focus on, I feel like.
Yeah, they had 2 starting Pro Bowlers this year.
And then he goes to the Jets, does not have nearly as close of a year. Again, terrible fucking line. And it was before Mekhi Becton even got there, so even worse.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to Kansas City, not getting used as much because they have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but better offensive line. And when he is used, he's efficient.
Well, Helaire got hurt, so we're about to see what Lev Bell has.
Right.
We're about to see what he's got left in the tank. But I agree. So you've convinced me, and I think the Jets actually, I'm still pissed. I would love to see Trevor Lawrence in the Jets jersey, but yeah, you're talking me off the ledge.
Now, I want to bring in a different part of this argument that I feel like people haven't been talking about. Do you think Sam Darnold, by winning this game, just killed his career? Because he might now have to stay with the Jets.
Yeah, I think he already said he wants to be a Jet for life, which, again, could just be the right answer to give New York media. I think Darnold's fine staying here. I think if the Jets give him a little bit to work with, I think he'll stay here. But I could also see him, I don't know, if he doesn't take his offer from the Jets, like we said, there's a bunch of teams that need quarterbacks. I could see him in Washington. I could see him with the Eagles. I could see him going to the Lions if they move on from Stafford, or the Colts if they move on from Rivers, like we've said before.
Yeah, and I agree. I think all these plans hinge on whether Joe Douglas can convince the Johnsons, maybe not to stay out of the way, because like I said, they're egotistical bastards and think they know everything, but at least there are certain people who are good at convincing people that it's their idea to get, like, if Joe Douglas can convince Christopher Johnson or Woody Johnson, now that he's coming back from being the ambassador or whatever, if he can convince them, like, hey, this great idea was your idea. You guys are super good job, guys. There are some people who can do that. And if Joe Douglas can get that done, I feel like we could be in a good spot, because I do believe in Joe Douglas.
All right, so what is your dreams and nightmare scenarios? Because I know my dream is that we get Powell, or whatever, the Oregon lineman whose name I'm just never going to get right. We get him, we build an offense, we get maybe there's a couple of decent free agents, maybe get Allen Robinson from the Bears so that Darnold has someone to throw to, and the Jets actually build a team. My nightmare scenario is that the Jets somehow, I'm probably not going to beat the Browns, but maybe beat the Patriots and somehow actually move a little further back, if that's possible. And then Johnson say, hey, we won 2 games. Gase is worth keeping, and we get trapped in this never-ending hell of Adam Gase.
I don't see how it could happen at this point.
He's still there.
But that's a Jets thing.
Yeah.
They don't fire him. Like Black Monday, whatever they call it. Like, I could see him definitely being fired right then and there.
Right.
But they're just not going to do it mid-season. And I feel like part of it is just kind of them holding his ass to the fire a little bit and being like, you know what? If you're going to put this bad of a product on the field, you're going to have to own it for all 16 games.
Do you guys think he gets another job after this, or he's donezo?
Huh!
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Just had to make sure we're all on the same page.
We know he will. But, we know he will. Some D3 college is going to be like, we need an offensive coordinator. He'll be like
I think the best he's going to get is a quarterback's coach job. And
in the league.
I don't
I
know
don't-
about in the league, but I'm just saying somewhere.
I don't want him as my quarterback's coach of anywhere.
I think he could be like the Purdue University co-offensive coordinator.
I mean, you got Freddie Kitchens calling praise for you right now, so
He could be
Yeah.
holding. He could be
Won't
the
tell
guy.
all that, Chloe.
He could be the guy holding the clipboard for Freddie Kitchens.
I don't want Adam Gase anywhere near my team. Like, no, don't ruin Daniel Jones too. Like, please.
Daniel Jones might be ruining himself, my guy.
Yeah, if he does it to himself, I'm okay with that. But like, no, I don't want Gase anywhere near the New York Football Giants organization at all. Not even getting coffee for them. Not even if he's like, hey guys, I'm gonna get some coffee. You want anything? No, like stay away, man.
Adam Gase can't even use them in Madden.
We're just Madden. Just don't even let him buy a copy. Just don't even let him think about it.
No
NFL
more,
football
no more
after
football.
this.
No more football. Adam Gase could do a fantasy team and still go 1-15.
You know what, my guy? If you want to start coaching ballet, feel free. Have some fun.
I'd feel bad for the ballerinas. All right, I think that's a good wrap up of the Jets talk.
All right, we shit on the Jets long enough. Let's move into some games that actually matter to anyone else besides the Jets.
Yeah, the games that happened. You want to talk Thursday night real quick? And then get into the big news for Saturday?
That's where I was going. The Raiders. What the fuck is going on?
John Gruden's
John
bad
Gruden.
coach. There you go.
I know,
I mean-
but he went on a run last year. He went on a run this year, but then for some reason they're just not finishing out.
But I don't think they really went on a run. They just they beat the Chiefs, which was incredible.
True.
And now they're 7-7. Like they barely beat the Jets. They got destroyed by the Falcons, and the Falcons aren't really good.
No.
They have a good offense.
Yeah, but it was the defense that was the game that Carr had 3 turnovers, like
True.
4, I think. I don't know. If I'm the Raiders, like Derek Carr's hurt, you're going to be starting Marcus Mariota against the Dolphins.
I mean,
Hawaii's gonna be happy.
but at least
Hell yeah.
Marcus has a chip on his shoulder, so we could see what that leads to.
Yo, Marcus out here trying to get paid. He got like close to like $1 million for playing 60% of the snaps in Thursday's game.
Oh, yeah, that incentive bonus.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Big week for Oregon. You had the 2 Oregon quarterbacks there, and then Oregon pulling off the upset against USC on Friday night. I think that the Chargers game really just showed that Herbert is a baller. He's
yeah.
going to be big. Like that was his time to say, I can make the big time plays with that rush touchdown. And they're going to be a very fun team to watch next year.
Oh, yeah.
Herbert really proved himself to everyone this year. Because coming out, he was the one. We had Joe Burrow, who everyone was just like, Joe Burrow's going to be stellar. And he's played great when he was on his feet. But Herbert was like, he could be a guy, he couldn't be a guy. He's put that to fucking bed in 1 year.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think he landed in a good spot. Like,
Yeah.
You're looking at Keenan Allen, solid receiver. Some would say he's top 10 receiver. You got Hunter Henry, solid tight end. Fucking who else do they got there? Mike Williams, if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, and they
Yo.
just got Eckler came back from injury. He's been balling.
Right. That the offense is like set up to succeed. Defense ain't shabby either when you got was it Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa?
Joey.
All right, you got Joey Bosa on the end, destroying quarterbacks and everything. I think you still have what's his name? Casey Hayward on the secondary.
Yeah.
Like that team could be good.
That's what we've been saying for a while now. At least I've been saying constantly is they just got to fire Anthony Lynn. They have way too much talent for that team to be so bad.
It's really true, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much talent for just like the names you just listed off. That should be at the very least someone fighting for a wild card slot.
Yeah,
Right.
Absolutely. They should not be, whatever, all the way out of it. Question: how many games do you think Adam Gase could lose with that roster?
16.
Yeah.
I'll give him 15.
I think Adam Gase has a 60-40 chance at the very least, no matter what lineup you give him. I think Adam Gase can go 0-16 with the Chiefs.
Wow.
Ooh.
Nah, I don't think Patrick Mahomes would allow that.
No, because he's going to bench Patrick Mahomes.
No,
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes would have bench Adam Gase.
And the Chiefs would let him do it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Piece of
Be
the
like-
city.
They're going to be like, do you see how much money this guy makes? He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yo, we paid him $500 million. He calls the shots, my guy. All right.
Let's move right on to the Saturday games. We had the Buffalo Bills go into Denver and just kick the shit out of the Broncos, 48-19.
I don't think anyone expected anything different.
No,
No.
absolutely not. But 48 is a lot for the Bills. Like
I know they were feeling themselves, man.
they've been playing extremely well. Congrats to Bills Mafia. A lot of my friends out there, Matt, Troy, a lot of good Bills fans. I went to school in Buffalo. Congrats on winning the AFCs.
I'm not gonna lie, they're getting real hot right now. They just got named number 2 in the power rankings. I feel
Ooh.
like coming in, if anyone's going to disrupt what Kansas City's doing in the playoffs, it's going to be them. And that's getting me real nervous, my guy, because last episode I made a pledge and I'm gonna stick to it. But I don't know if I exactly want to go through a table.
It's not that bad. The Bills, though, do you think they could actually beat the Chiefs? Do you think they could challenge the Chiefs?
I think
They'll definitely challenge the Chiefs.
can they?
If they,
Yes.
I think they can, but I don't know if they can beat them because the Chiefs, they have so many weapons. Like we've seen this. If you take out Tyreek Hill, you still got Travis Kelce. You take out Kelce, you still got another third string receiver that's going to come up out of nowhere.
Oh,
Still
Sammy
got Sammy
Watkins.
Watkins.
I was going to say, don't forget Sammy Watkins, who, if those two meet up, you know he's going to be like, all right, Buffalo, I got something for you. Watch
Oh, yeah.
this.
And then
Big
plus
time revenge narrative.
And then
Mhm.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, if they do get him back, and plus Le'Veon Bell, both huge threats out of the backfield,
Oh, and
in
let's
the
not
air
forget,
and on the ground.
and let's not forget, Patrick Mahomes is still there.
Oh yeah, just a little guy named Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but do you think that their defense could contain Josh Allen the way he's been balling out?
No,
Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, I mean, that connection is looking like one of the best in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, would I say it's most likely that the Bills are gonna beat Kansas City? No. But do I think they have a legitimate shot? Because it's not like it's a series. It's not basketball. It's not baseball. It is one game. Do I think the Bills can win one game against Kansas City? Hell yes.
If the Jets can beat the Rams, anything can happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That'll be if that were to happen, that would be a great shootout.
I'm not gonna lie.
my
I would be
goodness.
just because that game would be so fantastic. As much as I said, don't really want to go through a table, I'd be happy to do it.
You should do it win or loss, just for the Bills winning the division.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
The other game on Saturday, the Packers 24-16 beat the Panthers. This game was interesting because the Packers were winning, I think, 21-3 at the half, and then kind of fell asleep in the second half. And incredibly, like based on the odds that I used, the Packers were 8.5-point favorites, won by 8. So that's one of 4 games that I got within half a point of the spread. We've been talking about the Packers a lot. I've been a little concerned because sometimes they look sluggish. When they're on, like in the first half, they're unbeatable. When they're sluggish in the second half, I don't know. If Teddy Bridgewater could pick apart that defense, who's to say a better offense wouldn't be able to score more on the Packers?
Again, though, I think we've seen it a lot in the past couple weeks. Trap games are a thing. You never know. Cause like you're not really looking towards the Panthers. You know what I mean? So if it's one game, I want to see how they play next week. Because if they play real sluggish like that again, because they were going off the past few weeks before that.
Yeah.
So if they play real sluggish again, I'm concerned. They could be bottoming out right heading into the playoffs, which is not good. But we'll see. I don't like judging things based on one game.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'd like to see
But-
one or two in a line.
But we've seen it with, like, they let the Jaguars hang around. That was a much closer game than we expected.
True.
They lost to the Vikings, which we didn't expect. But I think, when it's all said and done, you still have Rodgers, Adams, and Aaron Jones is, like, one of the best, if not the best, trio
Yeah.
in the NFL and offense.
And don't forget, Jordan Love.
Yo.
Never forget.
I'm never not going to bring that up. Whatever we're talking about this offense and how great it could have been.
just think of all of these rookie receivers that they didn't take.
Wasn't Justin Jefferson still on the board?
Justin
Yeah.
Jefferson, Claypool, that guy Ayuk on the 49ers. Like,
I think Mims was the only
Ballers.
one off the board.
No,
I think we
Mims
went
was
before.
still available.
Mims
I think
was available. I think
Mims
Lamb,
went in the second round, right?
Yeah.
I think Lamb and Judy were the ones that were gone.
Right. Okay. But still, Mims flashed. Justin Jefferson made a Pro Bowl in his rookie year.
Which is incredible.
It's like, I don't know, just stupid decisions.
Hey, but the Packers are cruising. They got the number 1 seed in the NFC as of right now. So
Yeah, 100%. Moving in to the Sunday games. Texans Colts, closer than I expected.
yeah, you're telling me that was one of my picks of the week. I took the Colts by 7.5, and they won by 7.
But Deshaun Watson can always just come out with a game. He's just that good.
He's a baller. I will say though, interestingly, the first time these two teams met, the Colts won 26-20, and at the end of the game, the Texans had the ball at the Colts 5-yard line, and they fumbled a snap. This time, it was 27-20. Texans had the ball at the Colts 6-yard line, and the receiver fumbled it on his way to the first down. So the Texans are within 5 yards each game of winning both of these. But the Colts now are 10-4. They're going to be in the playoffs.
Well,
Yeah.
potentially.
And that's why they brought Phillip Rivers in as the stopgap. But they knew they had enough pieces in place to try to make a run. So they bring the older quarterback who, as you've said a million times, might not have these breakout games like a Deshaun Watson or Pat Mahomes or whoever, but will minimize your mistakes, will get the ball to the right guy in the right situation.
He's Mr. Consistent.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
He always has been.
And the Colts defense is real good.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing
surprisingly good.
They're going to be playing the Steelers next week, and I think they can win that game.
I mean,
Oh yeah. I
we'll
think
get
so.
into the Steelers.
We'll definitely get into the Steelers, but the Colts, things are looking up.
Yeah, that's all I really had to say in that game. Nothing too crazy. Moving on to the other trouncing of the week. Goddamn, this Titans team. When they're on, my guy.
We got to shout out Chris Robin, the Detroit Beastie. Sorry, your Lions kind of got rocked there. 46-25, the Titans beat them.
But I feel like he expected this going in.
He did. He thought Henry would get about 200 yards. I think Henry got 140. Henry might go for 2K. He's within reach.
Yeah, definitely within striking distance. And as we said before, he always surges right in December.
So the question becomes, Dev, do you think Derrick Henry, with his body of work, will get some MVP votes?
He has to get some votes. You seen what he's doing? He's putting up 100+ yard games several times this season. He's also making people look foolish. He's also
that stiff arm.
Oh, how many stiff arms? How many people have he stiff armed until non-existence?
Rest in peace, Josh Norman.
Josh
Yep.
Norman's done.
And
Hit
Josh
another one
Norman,
this week.
Josh Norman, he actually got air on that one.
This week too. You saw this one this week? Yeah, unreal.
Oh my god, he's making grown men look like small children.
For real.
Yeah, I mean, just have him standing next to some of these grown ass men that makes them look like small children. So
I think it's gonna be really hard to get somebody to take a vote away from Mahomes or Rodgers. But I mean, if there was a separate award for not quarterback MVP, offensive player of the year, excluding quarterbacks, 100% Derrick Henry.
But see, that's my whole thing. If you're judging it by most valuable player to a team, I think anyone else in the league, if you take them out of their team, it's not as big of an impact as Derrick Henry.
What about Aaron Rodgers? You think that team with just a regular old quarterback,
they still have Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. They still have ability to score points. I don't feel
fair.
the same way about the Titans. I think Tannehill's been playing better, but I don't think he's necessarily a showstopper anymore. I think he's just perfect for what the Titans do.
He had 5 touchdowns in this game.
I agree, but you're not
everyone
gonna
could
get
have 5 touchdowns against Detroit too.
and
Have you watched the Jets play? Hell no.
Excluding the Jets.
But that's also with you play Tennessee for the running game. You don't play Tennessee for the passing game. So when Henry's going off, it opens things up for Tannehill. I think Tannehill got put in the perfect situation for Ryan Tannehill, and I'm not even saying that to shit on Ryan Tannehill. It's just it is what it is. And I think losing Derrick Henry for the Titans would be way bigger than the Chiefs losing Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers for the Green Bay Packers.
Really? I think Mahomes off the Chiefs, they're 10-6.
Yeah, but I think Derrick Henry off the Titans, they're 4-12.
Really? I don't know, because I still think A.J. Brown, you got some receivers, you got Corey Davis. I don't know. Either way, they're cruising to the playoffs too, and they look like they pretty much won the division, I think, unless they slip up and the Colts win out.
I just think Tannehill hasn't proven himself consistent enough to me to make me believe that without this heavy running game, again, I think Tannehill has done great since he left Gase. I think he's in the best situation for him, but I think he's the perfect example of a what's that phrase? Like a scheme quarterback, like a system quarterback. Yeah,
He's in a good situation because it's a defense and a running game, and he uses the play action. But the Titans they did invest 5 years, like $100+ million into him, so he's their guy.
Yeah, but like I said, I think he's the perfect guy for that situation. But if you put him on other teams, he wouldn't be as bad as he was under Adam Gase, but he would not be having the success he has having Derrick Henry in the backfield, taking all the eyes off of any throw he's making.
That's a good point. I agree with that. All right, so we jump to another game with two quarterbacks that have had their ups and downs. This is a game that, I don't think any of us expected would matter, but it kind of matters. I'm talking about the Bears beating the Vikings. The Bears won 33-27. The Bears are now 7-7. The Vikings are 6-8, so the Vikings are pretty much done.
Yep.
The Bears now play the Jaguars, so we're going to assume they win, and they become 8-7. Week 17, the Bears play the Packers. Now, it's possible the Packers have the number 1 seed locked up. They don't play Rodgers. They don't play Adams. They don't play Jones. The Bears win that game. We live in a world where the Bears could be in the playoffs.
Again, I don't see anyone making the playoffs this year at 9-7.
No, they would be if they win. I think they would be the last spot.
Is it 7 seeds now?
Still, I don't know.
Mitch Trubisky came out and had a great game. David Montgomery had another massive game, 150 yards, I think, 140 yards. Over the last 4 weeks, he's been the number 1 running back in fantasy. He's just gone berserk for them, which makes you kind of wonder, why haven't they been doing that all year?
It seems like the injury might have helped him out. Help him get reset, get his mind right, get his body right, comes back, boom. Like you said, he's been the number 1 running back in fantasy for the last 4 weeks. He's just destroying people.
Yeah, and he's coming off a somewhat disappointing season last season from what people expected him to be. So I think he's showing himself this year.
And the Bears also are doing all of this without Tariq Cohen.
True.
So they're missing their other back to give him the break. I just think the Bears have a big decision similar to the Jets of Trubisky's contract's done it this year. Do you stick with Mitch? Do you start over?
I feel like they have to start over. After benching him after week 3 it was, and only really going back to him because Foles started sucking, the writing's on the wall. I feel like they made up their mind and they're going to move on from Mitch.
I agree, but I think it depends on where they sit in the drafts, what's available in free agency. It's a very QB light league recently. I feel like just a lot of people haven't been hitting. The Teddy Bridgewaters of the world, the Tyrod Taylors, you have your Pat Mahomes, you have your Aaron Rodgers, you have your...
There's the top shelf.
And then it's a drop-off.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll get to that for sure in the next game because you saw the Seattle Seahawks squeak out a win against the Washington football team. I had the Seahawks as a pick of the week to win by 5.5, so they won by 5. Fuck me.
Yeah, you're having a rough go of it this week.
It was interesting because Dwayne Haskins did something very impressive. He started out 3 for 3, which, okay, not bad. Each of those first 3 completions were for -1 yard. So he started out 3 for 3 for -3 yards. And I'm making this up, but I think that's the first time ever.
Yeah, I mean, if you said that to me and you said it like with your chest with a little bit of confidence, I'd believe you.
If I didn't say I made it up. Also, but like talking about quarterbacks, I think that's a game where if Washington had a real quarterback, not Dwayne Haskins, they had maybe a healthy Alex Smith, just an above average quarterback, I think they would have won that game. They were driving at the end. They had their chance.
And the Seahawks defense is just such a liability that if you can hold Russell Wilson, if you can hold Chris Carson, if you can limit them at the very least, their defense is such a liability that I don't care who you are, you have a shot in that game.
That's just how good the Washington defense has been. I mean, Cole, when he called in, talked about Chase Young. Dude, Chase Young is a different kind of animal. He is every play he's on the ball.
And at 100% intensity from the first play of the game to the last play of the game. I don't think I've ever seen a snap from him where he's not exactly where he needs to be, full-assed, going for it. He doesn't half-ass nothing. And that's not the norm within the league because guys are trying to, if it's a play where they know it's not really dependent on them, they're trying to get a little rest. They're trying to breathe a little bit to keep going because it is a long game. Like, I get it. I'm not trying to shit on other players. But Chase Young is just not that guy.
Chase Young is a different animal. Like, he might not be human.
Does it scare you to know that you have Daniel Jones facing Chase Young for twice a year for the next however long you stick with Daniel Jones?
Chase Young scares the shit out of me. We saw what Chase Young did to Joe Burrow. I'm scared that Chase Young is going to, like, destroy all the quarterbacks in the league. And my fault, all the quarterbacks in our division.
I just meant that Daniel Jones has a habit of fumbling when he gets hit, and that Chase Young has a habit of hitting quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, you know what? He also has a habit of destroying Joe Burrow's legs. So, hey, is he going to also destroy Daniel Jones's legs when he hits him? Possibly. Scares the shit out of me.
I mean, if Daniel Jones wants to save himself, he can do the same thing he did with Jamal Adams and just give the ball to him.
Or, if he's wide open by himself and Chase Young isn't even near him, he could just trip over his own feet.
Man, we should have won that fucking game.
Sorry, we have to get in our jabs because, the Jets have been a laughingstock all year, so.
Yeah. No, totally acceptable. I'm just
take
really...
when we get him.
Don't worry, Dev. While you've been gone, we've been shitting on Daniel Jones pretty much every episode.
As you should. I mean, there was like those 3 games where he was playing like a legit quarterback, and then the injury bug hit him, and he's back to being Daniel Jones again.
No, but see, that's the thing. I think he shows massive potential in every area except for turnovers. I think he can get out of the pocket. He can throw well. He can, like, they called him Danny Dimes for a reason. Like, he can hit his guy, but he can't hold on to a football.
And I think against a team like Washington, who, in Daniel Jones' defense, he beat Washington twice.
True.
But I think when you look at Montez Sweat and Chase Young coming after him, that's just, he's going to fumble it at least twice a game when they play.
100%.
But
100%.
I mentioned it earlier, Dwayne Haskins potentially facing up to a 4-game suspension because after this win against Seattle, this loss to Seattle, he was seen celebrating, partying without a mask at a strip club. So Washington football may still not have a quarterback.
Dude.
Who's left? I think they have to go to the emergency quarterback then, right?
Like, I'm not even trying to go into that right this very second. I'm just saying, my guy, you have had, since you came into the league, you've had this reputation of the guy that doesn't work hard enough, as the guy who's this, that, and the third, not a great teammate, not this. And you're going to go out and do this in the middle of a pandemic when you've had your first shot for, what, he got benched in like the second game of the season?
Yeah.
I think so.
And you've been playing a guy behind a guy who has half a fucking leg.
And they didn't even win.
So you get your shot and you're gonna fuck it up that quickly? Dwayne Haskins, you're a fucking moron. I'm sorry. There's no way to sugarcoat this.
Like if you told me Josh Allen and the Bills were out celebrating winning the division, okay, I'm not happy about it, but I understand it. This was a loss, and he was out celebrating, partying at a strip club with no mask. Dwayne, what are you doing?
And like I said, you just got your first shot. Fucking be a little humble about it.
That's enough Dwayne Haskins talk for today.
God.
All right, so
I really wanted to like Dwayne Haskins. I did. But
Yeah,
like
well,
when he came
makes
out
it
in the
hard.
draft, but yeah, he's done it to himself at this point. He's made himself a bust.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Giants dodged that bullet.
True. 100%.
Moving on to a rookie quarterback who isn't a bust or out partying and doing dumb shit.
Or a fucking stooge.
We have Tua. Tua beat the odds, made me look wrong for picking the Patriots. Tua ran for 2 touchdowns, had the sweet 2-point conversion where they ran a little hook and ladder. He beat the Patriots 22-12. Belichick is now 21-6 all time against rookie quarterbacks.
Oof.
Dolphins have a winning record.
This is the first time since Geno Smith that a rookie quarterback has beaten Bill Belichick.
But we saw what Belichick did to Herbert a couple weeks ago. That was brutal.
That was.
But the Patriots eliminated for the playoffs for the first time since 2008. Weird. Just a weird thing to say out loud.
Still
cool.
doesn't make sense.
It's their first not winning season in like 15 years.
It's strange. I mean, the Dolphins have 9 wins, so the Dolphins will have a winning season. That's something.
I believe them much more as a wild card team than I do the Bears.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I keep saying I don't think 9 wins is going to be enough. I think.
With different conferences, but I agree.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. But you know what I mean.
But the Dolphins
Right.
now, this Saturday, the Dolphins play the Raiders, and I'm pretty sure if the Dolphins win it, then they eliminate the Raiders. So that's going to be a fun game to watch. You're going to have Tua, like Devin alluded to earlier, the Hawaii quarterbacks. You have Tua versus Marcus Mariota. That should be a fun game on Saturday night.
I always forget Marcus Mariota's from Hawaii. Because at least Tua Tagovailoa. Okay,
Sounds Hawaii.
Marcus Mariota. I don't think Hawaii.
Yeah, I just think Oregon.
Didn't he start in Hawaii?
Who?
Mariota.
I don't know shit about college.
No, he went to Oregon. He won the Heisman. He balled out. He won his record. It was like 36-3 in college, or 36-5, something insane.
Damn.
It was just nuts. Let's move on to another Florida team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They got the first pick. Wow. The Jaguars lost by the score of 40-14. Lamar Jackson had his way with them. The Ravens looking good. The Ravens have finally turned it around. They're heating up a bit.
Are the Ravens back, you think, or is this a fluke?
I think I think a lot of people, yes, they do need weapons in the receiving game, but they also were dealing with the COVID thing. They were dealing with a bunch of other things. I'm not 100%. Again, I was worried about them because they had everything going on, but I think their core team, I wouldn't put them as a bad team. I just think they were dealing with a lot.
Definitely. I think the weeks where they didn't have Lamar and didn't have Mark Andrews, like the loss to the Steelers, that was a terrible game. I mean, we saw Trace McSorley throw a touchdown, but the Ravens right now, just because of those setbacks, are on the outside looking in, where the Dolphins are ahead of them, the Colts are ahead of them. I want the Ravens to succeed because I think they are one of the most fun teams to watch. It's just an uphill battle for them to make the playoffs. But they came out, they beat the Browns in that great Monday night game. They did what they needed to do, beat the Jaguars. Looking all right. Should we move on to the third Florida team, the Buccaneers?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, man.
So tell me if you've heard this before. The Falcons blew a lead to Tom Brady and Gronkowski.
You're kidding.
In the second half.
In the second half.
No, shut up.
Swear, dude, they were winning by 17 with 4 minutes left in the third, and the Bucs just came marching back.
I would never believe it.
Well,
That doesn't happen.
the Bucs, this is now 2 weeks in a row because last week against the Vikings, they were losing in the first half too, and they came back and they won sound and sure-fired win. But I think Tom Brady finding Antonio Brown, pretty cool. Oh, that's another little thing I forgot about the Ravens. Des Bryant caught a touchdown, and then you saw Antonio Brown catch a touchdown on the same day.
Don't forget, Frank Gore also scored a touchdown, and Larry Fitzgerald scored a touchdown.
Yeah, Larry's first since last season.
Dez is first in like 3 years.
Yeah, since 2017, and Antonio Brown since week 2 of last season.
There you
So,
go.
Bottom line, if you were playing fantasy in 2016 and you had all those guys on your team, you're feeling pretty good.
Well, if that's not enough nostalgia for you, I mean, we had the Cowboys and 49ers play, and those are teams that haven't been good in a long time. Well, actually, that's not true. The 49ers were good last year, but those are teams
They were in the Super Bowl last year.
maybe good last year. That's a matchup of, like, you think 49ers, you think all the 80s, the championships, the Cowboys, all over the 90s.
Well, I mean, the 49ers really had no shot. Bosa went down. Garoppolo went down, even though Garoppolo wasn't playing great.
Kittle went down.
Yeah.
The running backs went down. Everyone went down.
They had no shot this year.
Right,
if you put a 49ers jersey on, you were going down with some sort of injury.
If you own a 49ers jersey and have stepped within 100 yards of MetLife Stadium, you probably have an injury right now.
Yeah, but on the other side, the Cowboys, too, I mean, they played this game without Ezekiel Elliott, and Tony Pollard went nuts.
True.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy I would love to see in green. I would love to have Tony Pollard as a Jet.
But I think this also, we haven't gotten your opinion on this yet, Dev. I think this also brings up a solid point. Last week, I brought up the fact that every year he's been in the league, his average run yards per game have dropped by at least 5 yards.
Talking about Zeke.
Yeah, about Zeke. Do you think Zeke might be past that point where he was the scariest guy in the league? Obviously, definitely with Derrick Henry, but you know what I mean, like top 5 scary guys in the league.
I think he might be. I mean, you look at that offensive line for the last several years, one of the best. Everyone's like, hey, if you want to go offensive line, look what the Cowboys did. They made sure that that's protected. Zeke comes in. It seemed like they were just opening holes for him to run through, and he was lighting it up. Second year, same thing, a little bit on the downcline. And honestly, like, this was his time to shine. You know, without Dak being there, it's like, all right, like, you're going to be the future back. Like, you're going to be the face of the franchise right now.
You're going to be our Derrick Henry.
Right.
But I think without Dak there, it just makes it too easy for a defense to say, like, okay, are we going to worry about stopping Ezekiel Elliott at their line, or are we going to let Andy Dalton throw the ball? Like, the defense gets to focus in on him a little more.
But you know what, though?
I get what you're saying, but Andy Dalton has been a starting quarterback in this league for so long. Like, people seem to, I brought this up again before on the pod, people seem to act like, oh, Dak went down, like they're playing fucking Colt McCoy.
No, but you want to know a fun fact about Dak? That right now, at this moment, Dak Prescott has more passing yards on the season than Sam Darnold.
It's true.
That's just how. No, he had like 1,800 yards in like 4 games. He was just balling, like another level of balling out, and defenses had to back off the line. Like, you couldn't just stop the run because he would just throw it over your head.
I was gonna say though, like, even those first 4 games, it wasn't like it was Dak doing it all. Like, Zeke
wasn't
doing
burning
some
anything
stuff,
up,
but like nothing crazy.
But that's what I'm saying though, is like the defenses were saying we'll stop Zeke because we would rather let Dak throw the ball. Now that Dak isn't throwing the ball, you don't have to worry about the passing game. You can just shut down Zeke. I'm not disagreeing that Zeke has regressed. I just think the defenses can scheme for it better.
Like, I mean, yeah, going from Dak to Andy Dalton will make it easier to focus on the run game. But at the same time, he wasn't blowing anything up before that, especially when Dak was throwing all over everybody.
I think next year we'll get a fresh slate and see them completely healthy because they were down linemen this year too. So once you have starting quarterback, your starting line, we'll see.
But he disappointed last year. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of off the Zeke train at this point.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just to jump on the 49ers real quick and how everyone's injured. I just got like 5 notifications of players just going to IR right now for Niners. Debo Samuel, Mostert, even Nick Mullins.
I mean, I think at this point, like
Nick Mullins now, shit.
at this
Yeah.
point, why not just shut him down? You're not making the playoffs. There's 2 weeks left.
Who else are they going to throw in at quarterback now, though?
Ladies and gentlemen, CJ Beathard.
There you
Oh,
go.
God.
Return of the Beathard. Why not? Speaking of quarterbacks throwing the ball, we had a really fun game in Arizona where you saw 2 Oklahoma Sooners,
Yeah.
Kyler Murray versus Jalen Hurts, 33-27. The Cardinals were able to pull it out, but that was a very fun game.
Yeah, Kyler Murray is a lot of fun to watch.
Yes.
I do not envy the Eagles front office right now. Because they are, no, but either way, they're fucking so fucked for next year.
Yeah, they are.
Because
all the money they invested in Wentz?
Yep.
They are not moving on from Carson Wentz next year. It is impossible.
Well, they already named Hurts the starter for next week.
But yeah, I'm talking about next year, though.
I know, but like, what do you do if you're going to let Hurts start out these last few games, ball out, hit 300 yards, 100 rush yards? Like, he looked like a video game player out there, and you're going to tell him to go back to the bench? Like, the defense was playing inspired by watching Jalen Hurts.
No, I 112% agree with you.
112.
But $58 million on your cap, you can't let that guy, like, he's starting the year.
Well,
You're
I
not
don't know.
going to trade him anywhere.
I don't think
Well,
so.
Wentz says, though, that he doesn't want to be a backup to the Eagles. So
then
if
restructure your deal, my guy. Like, that's the only way you're getting out.
But Dev, do you think that's just him being a quarterback and like all quarterbacks have that mindset of like, I'm gonna start, I'm the guy. He was the second overall pick. Like, he's going to have that mindset.
Right. I think his ego is bruised a bit because, I mean, unfortunately for him, he's just been injured. He has not been able to play a full season, whether it's been, the broken back, the ACL, the God knows like what's been going on with him this season. I don't know if it was the injuries to receiving core or if it was like mental or whatnot, but like he's not been living it up. But yeah, Chris, you're right. Like Philly's in trouble.
Do you remember I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, like you said, like they promised him how much money? Like 58 mil?
He's guaranteed $58 million, whether he's on the team or not next year.
So like if they try to trade him, no one's gonna take that contract. No one's taking that contract unless Philly agrees to pay for like 75% of it.
And then there's no reason to trade him at that point.
Right.
To get rid of him.
Yeah, but
you could trade him for a second round pick.
I don't think anyone's even giving up a second round at this point.
I don't know. Do you remember a couple of years ago, though, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and they were like, Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, and it turns out they both suck?
Jesus Christ.
That was a fun one.
I think 2022, he's guaranteed, I think it's $28 million. I think you have a chance of moving him then. But next year, you're either starting him or you have a $58 million backup. No one's taking on that money. And to get him moved, you would have to take so much of that contract, be such a big hit on your cap, especially when we don't know what the cap's going to be next year because of the revenue streams, whatever is going on with COVID. There's no fucking shot that he's not on that team next year. Everyone's saying, oh, he's going to the Colts. Oh, he's going to go to the Jets. Oh, he's going to... No one is taking that money.
I would like to change my nightmare scenario from earlier. I believe it is well within my nightmare that the Jets trade the number 2 overall pick for Carson Wentz.
Dude, fucking get out of here.
Yo, why do you gotta put that juju out there for you guys?
It's my nightmare, man. It's just not going to happen because I said it out loud. It's like a wish. It's the reverse. The reverse. Anyways.
All right, the next game on the docket is the Jet game, but we already beat that fucking game to death. So let's move on to what some people's calling the Super Bowl preview. I don't believe so at this point. I'm not. I don't think the Saints are gonna get there.
The Chiefs went into the Superdome, beat the Saints 32-29. Mahomes did Mahomes things. Drew Brees started the game 0 for 5.
Again, he's been out. I don't
I don't think he's 100%.
yeah.
No.
No way in hell. You
He was-
have 11 broken ribs and a punctured lung and only miss, 4 weeks?
So my question is, do you think they would have been better off with Taysom Hill starting?
No. I
Probably
think
not.
Drew Brees gives them the better chance to beat the Chiefs, but also doesn't help when Michael Thomas is out.
Well, that's another thing. Michael Thomas and Drew Brees have missed each other all year. Do you think there's a chance they just straight up dislike each other and are doing it on purpose?
No.
No. Did Michael Thomas get paid yet?
I think they've had too much success to hate each other.
I don't know.
What
I mean, it's just like Michael Thomas was hurt in the beginning of the year. Then Drew Brees gets hurt and Michael Thomas comes back. Then Drew Brees comes back and Michael Thomas gets hurt. I don't know, man. It just seems weird. If you ask me, it's weird.
I get what you're saying, but when they have the history of just connecting that much, like winning fixes all problems. You know what I mean? Like the only time, like when AB and Roethlisberger soured, it's because AB wasn't getting the ball and they weren't. Like they might have been winning, but but AB wasn't getting his receptions. Drew Brees knows he's feeding Michael Thomas as much as he can in any given game. He's proven that throughout the years. Like
yeah, no, I was just kind of messing around more so than anything. But diving into this game though, like Devin, you were saying earlier, is that the Chiefs have just way too many weapons. Where, there's that one pass where Mahomes was literally rolling to his left, throwing across his body to the back of the end zone. And somehow, DeMarcus Robinson made the catch. Like, where did he come from?
First off, amazing catch by Marcus Robinson. Great job at making sure he had possession and got 2 feet in bounds. That's what you'd like to see. But you're right, how the hell does Mahomes make that shit? Like, I thought he was going to throw it away. And then out of nowhere, Robinson comes, boom, touchdown.
Your defense has to, that has to take a toll on the mental aspect of the game when your defense is like, we're really just, doing everything right, and he's still beating us.
Yeah, I think, I saw that play, and I thought the Saints, they played that play very well. Contain Mahomes, rush him to the side so that, he had nowhere to go. And Mahomes is just amazing.
We all thought he was throwing it away.
Yeah, but to find someone open on the sideline in the back corner of the end zone, like I said, it's just amazing.
See, that's the thing. Again, I'm going to use another Rex Ryan quote from an interview I heard the other day. Pat Mahomes, while everyone else is playing professional football, is doing their job, is doing this, that, and the third, Pat Mahomes is playing a game. He's having fun. He's doing whatever the fuck he feels like, and he's not even trying. It's just, it comes so naturally to the guy that he's just going out there. It's just like, all right, let's have some fun today. Where everyone else is so locked in and serious and whatever. He's just like, yo, you guys want to? I mean, this is a pretty big backyard and there's a lot of people watching, but let's throw the football around.
Yeah, it feels like him and Aaron Rodgers are just in that place of just they're so good at what they're doing, and it's just fun for them.
Yeah.
And I asked both of you guys this beforehand. Do we think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl?
Probably.
Yeah.
Do we think in the next year, 2, 3 years down the line, the Chiefs are going to be so dominant that they flip and it becomes like the Patriots where people start cheering against them because they're the team that's always favored? They're going to always be in the Super Bowl conversation.
I can see that happening.
Yes and no. I think anytime someone goes on a run where it seems like they're winning every year, I like it because I like watching greatness. I thought the Golden State run was cool. I thought, I didn't think the Patriot run was cool because I'm a Jet fan, but also, at the same time, Travis Kelce, Pat Mahomes, maybe not so much Tyreek Hill, but Andy Reid, they're all very personable, likable guys, where Bill Belichick is definitely not. And Tom Brady, especially, he's shown a little more now that he's out of Belichick's system. But back then, they're not going to give you anything. They're not going to have fun with the media. They're just going to say, Oh, I'm Bill
Do your job.
Belichick. This is a distraction.
Do your job. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I just feel like with the cross sport reference, Mahomes is going to be like LeBron in the sense that almost every year, like LeBron bounces around teams, but any team he's on, whether it's the Cavs, the Heat, or the Lakers, in the title conversation, LeBron's going to always be in the MVP conversation. And like, I love basketball, as you can see by my shirt. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this, you can't see my shirt. But I get tired of the LeBron hype. I think LeBron could win MVP pretty much any year, but I'm going to be saying I want to see a different face. Like Mahomes probably could win MVP the next 5 years if he really just balls out like he's been. But I think we're going to reach a point where you're going to want to see a different face get in there. Like, we're all happy to see the Bills win because even though they're a division rival for us, the Bills haven't won the division in 25 years.
Right. I can agree with you somewhat. I don't get that per se. I like watching greatness. I like watching things that I know are going to go down in the history books and we're going to be talking about for the next 50 years. And that's what this team is. That's what Pat Mahomes is. That's what this Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce connection all is. These are things that 50 years from now we're going to be telling our grandkids about.
Yeah. They've won.
Boy, when I was a little boy, I was watching this boy named Pat Mahomes light it up in Arrowhead. I swear that boy did some amazing things.
You explain it to your little girl, being like, they've won 22 out of the last 23. Just unstoppable team. I don't know where your accent's going to come from, but you invented it.
I don't know where it comes from either. It comes in and out sometimes.
That accent reminds me of a certain person we work with, Dev, and I'll let you figure out who that was.
I'm going to answer that off air.
Alrighty then.
You know exactly who I'm talking about.
I do.
Deb,
right.
you want to lead us through this next one? We're talking about the Browns and the Giants.
Oh, man, you talking about the ultimate revenge game? Colt McCoy versus Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, that's the revenge narrative.
Oh, man, what can we say? Browns? They're not the Browns anymore. They're looking good. I mean, Baker, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder.
Are they for real?
Oof. Yeah, I'm going to say they're for real.
I don't even know how you thought about that. Baker has thrown like fucking one interception in the last,
6 or 7 weeks, something like that.
Like, that was their biggest problem. You know their running game stacked. You know they have weapons on the outside.
You know they got Myles Garrett.
Yeah, and their defense is actually, like, pretty damn good. Like, it's not just Myles Garrett you got to worry about. It's, like, the whole defensive line, linebackers.
They got Olivier Vernon, your guy.
Yeah.
So that's another revenge narrative right there. Freddie Kitchens. I think the Browns had a player that might have been injured that might have played for the Giants at one point. I don't know.
Probably did.
I think they mentioned a receiver. They might have mentioned once or twice during the game.
Jabril Peppers was traded in the Odell deal.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Odell. Yeah. They mentioned that once or twice.
Oh, yeah, that Odell guy.
But, yeah, I mean, it's the Browns doing what they should have done to the Giants and won that game handily. Giants also should have been able to score more points, but Joe Judge decides, you know
I
what?
do that all the time, don't worry.
You know what? Instead of getting points early on, we're just going to go for it, and part of me likes the aggressiveness, but also it's like, it's early in the game. Let's get some points first before we get aggressive. Like, let's get that base layer down and the foundation. And then later on when we need it, we'll go all in.
I'm throwing a flag right there because you mentioned it. That's what flag. Joe Judge is a special teams guy, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that 4th down fake punt? Let the punter take a shotgun snap play.
And then throw to their center.
Yeah. Listen.
Like, we're talking dreams and nightmares. What was he dreaming about when he drew that one up?
And it's not like even like they lined up for the kick for the field goal. They line up and then all of a sudden they all jump out to this random thing. They know exactly what's coming.
Right. You're not fooling anybody. Like,
Okay, just one more thing, because you just made me think about it by saying I'm throwing a flag on this one. Can we talk about that ref? The ref from,
the
I
one
think,
that
the
was just
Sunday
like,
games just comes out. Like, fucking sass, man. Like,
He's going for the style points, man.
yeah. He was like, oh, if I have to do the Sunday night game, I'm gonna make sure people are talking about me.
Yeah.
He wants to be the next Ed Hockley.
You tune into that to watch what? Saquon Barkley, he's out. Odell Beckham, out. I want to see the ref throwing that flag. Oh, man.
all right, so let's round off Week 15 with the biggest shocker.
Second biggest.
Oh, you're right. Second biggest shocker.
The biggest shocker that didn't break our Jets' hearts.
Actually, you know what? I would still call this the biggest shocker because I expect the Jets to fuck themselves, like to shoot themselves in the foot.
All right, so we got the Bengals as 12-point underdogs winning at home, fucking up the Steelers 27-17. Are the Steelers the worst team to win 11 games?
I don't think so.
Man, that's hard.
You saw how well they were playing going in, and I understand people are saying like, "Oh, they didn't have."
They weren't playing well going in.
No, I'm saying going
Oh.
through the 11 games before they lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know what went wrong. I don't know if that first loss to Washington just killed the confidence, because you gotta understand, having that little bit of confidence and cockiness, that little swagger to your step, adds something. Like, you see it in fighting all the time. Like, guys who maybe, I think Greg Hardy's kind of a good example.
Didn't he beat his wife?
Yeah,
I think guns
but
were
he's
involved also.
That's not a good example for.
I'm not saying a good example for life, but a good example for this. He was coming into the UFC. He was coming in strong. He was beating guys in the Contender Series. He was doing all this. And he just had this swagger about him where, yeah, he was a hard hitter. Yeah, he was athletic. But he wasn't. His last fight, he actually showed me a lot, as much as I hate to say it. But we'll get into that when we talk fighting again. Because he fought this last weekend, actually. He had the confidence. Like, you'll see guys go on a run and maybe beat guys that they probably shouldn't have beat just because they have the confidence. They're there to be first. They're there to do this thing. I think, and then you run into something like the Steelers did in Washington, and it just deflates that confidence. So you're not playing with that little bit of swagger you had going into the beginning of the year.
I think it goes back to right before Washington when they had the Thanksgiving game with the Ravens that got rescheduled for the following Wednesday, because they beat the Ravens, but that was a sloppy game. Roethlisberger was turning it over. They lost Pouncey to COVID. They lost Connor to COVID. Thank you. They just didn't look right. Like, I think that extra delay, whatever it was, just like you said, they had their confidence going, and I think that just threw a wrench in everything because they looked really good for 10 games. And in the last 4, they had a really sloppy win over Baltimore, and they've lost 3 in a row.
Also, it's not helping is Juju dancing on all the logos. He's putting a target on their backs.
Bengals leveled that
Yeah,
motherfucker.
That was an AFC North football hit.
Yeah.
Speaking of AFC North, you realize now the Steelers next week play the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a guaranteed win. If the Steelers lose, the Browns beat the Jets. The Browns-Steelers play Week 17 for the division title.
Which was all but locked up 3 weeks ago. Everyone was convinced.
And like we're saying, like, I love seeing new teams. You have the Bills and the Browns as champions of their divisions in the same season.
Especially with all the sadness the Browns fans have endured for the last, I don't know, 20-some-odd years.
Ever. But yeah.
Since before they became the Baltimore Ravens, my guy.
I think the Steelers, I mean, just the injuries are now mounting up. Bud Dupree, Devin Bush.
James Conner was out last week.
James Conner. We got to talk about that in fantasy. I want to talk about myself, but Devin, I'll let you talk about your game. I needed 5.5 points from Roethlisberger. He had -3 at the half. That scared me. But he pulled it out, so I was okay. Devin? Thoughts?
Oh, man, lucky you. Ugh. Sadness, man. It's just straight sadness. Going to Monday night, I'm nervous. My opponent, I'm done for the game. I'm up at like 252 to like I don't know, 2-something. My opponent's got James Conner, Deontay Johnson. Not feeling too good because it could go either way. You know, we could either see Conner go off, we could see Johnson go off. I'm like, you know what, Johnson kind of falling back. I get to update 4 o'clock. Connor's out of the game. I'm like, fuck yeah, everything's looking a little bit up. And then someone in our league has to text the commissioner, put that bad juju in the air.
Shout out Matt King.
That guy. You're an asshole for that one, my guy.
Matt King, not cool, bro. Not cool.
Dude, it's a flattery in a way because he texted me saying he was afraid of playing you in the championship.
He heard the footsteps, Dev. He didn't want it.
Yeah, but not cool, man. Gamemanship. It's not like it came out like Tyrod Taylor 5 minutes before and Justin Herbert's like, wait, what? I'm starting. No, my opponent had ample amount of time to get the notification, make the change if needed, whatever. But
No, Dev. We don't play to be nice here. As my man Herm Edwards once said, we play to win the game, all right?
Listen, I'm not going to say shit, man. Gamemanship, you know, like we all on the same playing field. We all got the same access to technology and ability. But fuck me, Deontay Johnson goes off. Doesn't help the Steelers win, but fucking crushes my dreams of making it to the finals in our league. And now I'm a sad, sad panda.
I won my matchup by like 70 points, so I don't know. I don't know what y'all are feeling right now.
I won by exactly 1.1. Thank you, Big Ben. Still think the Steelers are frauds, and I'd like to see them lose the division to the Browns. That's just my opinion. Tell us what you think.
I'll be so happy for the dog pound.
Call in, let us know what you think of the Steelers. If they're frauds, call in, let us know if anybody has any opinions about the Jets that we didn't get to because we got to them all. Let us know if you think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. I think in 2 years we're going to be like the Chiefs again. Maybe not. Everybody let us know what you think.
Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. See what I did there?
Anyways. I think that should just be the end of it. So I don't know where to go from there.
Yo, that's a knee slapper right there.
All right, I just threw everything off the rails right there. I think that's it for the football week, though.
That's all I got. I mean, we got a Christmas Day game, Vikings Saints. Weird stuff happens. Minnesota Miracle. The Saints lost last year in the playoffs to the Vikings. Drew Brees not looking great. Kirk Cousins also not looking great. But we'll get more into next week's football when that comes. You got to take a couple of days to just relax.
Yeah. The other big news. I know you're real excited to get into this one. The return of the NBA.
We're doing that now. We got time, or are we a little off the rails at this point?
Well, let's. I mean, it's about to start. We got to give them something.
Yeah, I'm hyped. I'm hyped. It's been exactly 72 days since the Lakers won their championship. Dev's repping the Knicks. I'm repping the Knicks. Dev, let's be honest. Out of 72-game season, a little shorter this year, do we think they're going to win 20?
I want to say yes, but you know what? No. Yeah, I can see them winning 20. I can see them getting 20 games.
With Thibodeau now, I'm more confident that I would have been going in.
I could see 20. I wouldn't aim for like 25, but I could see 20.
No, it's definitely going to be like 20, like right at the 20 mark, maybe 19, 18. And maybe they'll get another one and get 21.
What bothers me is that they're just so young that they're not going to be fun to watch. Like, there are going to be bad teams that are going to be fun to watch. I think the Timberwolves are going to be bad, but they have Towns. They have Russell, this kid Edwards coming in. Ricky Rubio's back. They're going to be fun to watch. The Knicks are just going to be irrelevant again.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun watching RJ Barrett and Obi Toppin hopefully grow a little bit this season. But that's about the most I can say. They really made no moves in the offseason.
Nah.
But it's worth talking about the other New York team because they're going to be really good. The Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah. Oh,
finally Kevin Durant playing his first NBA regular season game.
And he looked like he didn't miss a fucking step.
He's looking so good. You got
And
Kyrie.
right off the back, they're going up against the Warriors, so you know he's going to ball out.
He's out for blood, but I think more than anything, the Warriors are going to be out for blood because without Clay, they're going to be they're in a worse shape than the Nets. Put it like that.
Yeah. Well, Draymond's also out for that game too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
That completely ruins my question then.
Were you going to ask if Draymond was going to kick KD in the nuts? Because my answer would be yes.
No, but on a real level, you've seen KD get into it with former teammates of his. You've seen him and Russ get into it. You've seen this and that. And if there's any guy who wants that fucking smoke on the Golden State Warriors, it's Draymond fucking Green.
That would be fun. I mean, that reminds me that now we have to keep an eye on the Wizards Nets because that's Westbrook KD.
Yep.
Weird.
Yeah.
A lot of moves in the offseason. Tonight we also have the Lakers Clippers. This is probably going to air after the game. The Lakers, what did you say? Like LeBron, Anthony Davis returned. They got Montrezl Harrell to add to the bench.
They extended Kuzma,
they got Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
What do you think? I would say 40% chance the Lakers repeat. What do you guys think?
I might even go a little higher than that.
Yeah.
Not super higher, maybe 45-50, but I'm pretty confident.
I'll say I'd be the highest on all of y'all, and I'm going to say 55.
Houston's about to blow up. I think the only way they don't is if the Nets trade goes through with Houston.
Yeah.
Well, last I heard, Denver's now talking about making a trade for Harden.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying KD, Kyrie, Harden, if they can make that work, I'm not saying they can because that's a lot of egos to contend with.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only team I can really see actually competing with the Lakers. I know there's the Clippers, Kawhi and Paul George, but Paul George has been iffy.
We're going to see tonight that Montrezl Harrell switching teams in LA is going to make a huge difference because the Clippers, they replaced him with Serge Ibaka, who's a good defensive player, but you're going to miss the scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Tyronn Lue is a very good coach. I think he won a championship purely because he had LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Love, and the Warriors kind of fucked up that series that they had the 3-1 lead. But I think Dev makes a good point with the Nuggets because the Nuggets were so close last year. Jamal Murray became a star in the bubble.
True.
Jokic, we know when he's on, he is one of the best big men in the league. They didn't, but if they added a scorer like Harden, that would be pretty unreal.
True.
I think we also got to keep an eye on the East. It's probably going to be the Bucks. Giannis, again, locked up, signed his contract, happy to be there. They brought in Drew Holiday to add a little defense.
Who would you say is the best defensive team in the league?
The Bucks. I'd say
if it wasn't for Giannis, I'd say that'd probably be the best bet. Throw him on a good defense team and just let him be their offense like he wants to be. I'm talking Harden.
Harden? Yeah.
I would think that would be the best scenario for James Harden.
But Harden and Giannis don't like each other.
No, I'm saying I wouldn't think that's a good idea because of Giannis. But that's what I would do with James Harden. He wants to be the offense. He wants to have the ball every play. He wants to make all the shots. If you put a team around him that's just, hey, we got big men who play defense and do all this, I think that's probably your best bet with him. Because they've tried to play this D'Antoni score type play with him, and it's just not working.
That's why he wants to go to the Nets, because it's Steve Nash and D'Antoni and Amari Stoudemire on the coaching staff, and he just wants that run and gun. But I think the latest I saw, at least, was that the Sixers were still in talks.
Yep.
Daryl Morey's trying to swap Simmons for Harden, which would be something, but I don't know. I mean, I think, like, all of this stuff, like we talked about in the last one, Dev, I'm sure you're seeing it too, is that Harden is just, like, looking out of shape. He was partying at strip clubs in Atlanta. Like, he literally watched The Last Dance and was like, I want to be like Dennis Rodman.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, I'd want my coach to let me to leave and go date Carmen Electra and get drunk in Vegas.
Vegas?
No. It wasn't Phil Jackson. It was Michael Jordan that let him do that.
And then Michael.
No, Michael went there, dragged his ass back.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
that's a whole nother documentary right there. Michael's
But that's
rescue
because
mission.
Dennis didn't come back on time.
True.
Michael's like, all right, Dennis, you can go, but 48 hours. All right, bet I'll be there. 72 hours later, fuck, I'm going to get this motherfucker.
Michael Jordan would be that guy.
Dude, imagine I just want to know what that trip was like. Michael Jordan's like, we got a rescue mission. We got to find Dennis Rodman and Carmen Electra somewhere in this Vegas hotel room. Like, unreal.
Oh my
It'd
God.
be crazy. But if Harden goes to the Sixers, how do you think him and Doc Rivers are going to get along?
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. But Doc Rivers didn't get along with any of his players, and he's made it to the playoffs. He won a championship with the Celtics. Like,
Harden expects control of everything, and
I'm a Doc Rivers truther. I think Doc Rivers is the most overrated coach in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
He's blown a 3-1 lead with the Clippers. He did it with the Magic. He's done it with the Celtics. Like,
Oh, the Magic throwback right there.
Hell yeah. People forget he had a young T-Mac. Blew a 3-1 lead in the playoffs.
but he got them there.
He got them there, but, look at the talent on this Clippers team. I think
I agree.
they
but
should have at least made it to the Western Conference final. Like, if they got knocked out by the Lakers, sure, you get knocked out by the Lakers, but to lose to the Nuggets the way they did, I think that's somewhat on Doc.
But I agree. I think anytime you lose something like that, it's always at least partially on the coach. But no one expected Jamal Murray to come out like that. Like, it was in the bubble. There's a lot of mitigating factors there.
That's true. Also will be interesting to see the other surprise of the bubble, Devin.
Yeah.
Devin Booker. That's a Dennis. That's a Dennis.
It's okay.
Long day.
Yeah, him and CP3 should be a fun backcourt to watch.
That actually should be.
You
great.
got DeAndre Ayton, who came into his own a little bit last year. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team, but they will definitely be one of the most fun teams to watch.
Well, they were right on the bubble, no pun intended, last season. Like, I think they even went on the run, and it came down to the last game of the play-in series, right?
Yeah. No, they were right there on the cup. It was them, the Grizzlies. They're going to be another fun team to watch if John Morant can, keep it going.
John Morant is apparently pissed off at the world right now.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, he has so much going for him, but they don't really have a roster around him that scares me,
Right.
Like the Pelicans, you have Zion, and Zion's scary. You also have Lonzo's looking good. Brandon Ingram was an all-star last year. You have J.J. Redick coming off the bench.
And Steven Adams.
Even though J.J. Redick is not excited to get back into training camp and be playing.
But the Pelicans might have the most arm tats of any team.
100%.
Yeah.
You got Lonzo, Ingram, J.J. Redick's got his sleeve, Josh Hart,
You also have
Adams.
You also have Lonzo playing for his money for his free agency because he decided to opt out and not take the extension from them.
Do you think he's going to end up signing with the Hornets next year to be with his brother?
I think he's trying to make as much money as he can.
I agree. I think he's going to end up in a major market.
Yeah.
I'm not even 100% convinced on that. I think whoever offers him the most money.
Could be.
But also he's a restricted free agent, so they can match
That's
depending on how he plays this year.
So let's see, another fun team that I think is not going to make the playoffs, but we're going to enjoy watching them play, the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young's always fun to watch.
Yeah.
They added Danilo Gallinari. They added Bogdan Bogdanovic, which is just hard to say. They had John Collins, who's a great young power forward, and they got Rondo on their bench.
Mm-hmm.
They'll score a ton of points. They might not win anything because they don't have any defense. They'll be fun to watch.
How much did Rondo's contract go up?
Off the top of my head, I could not tell you, but it definitely went up.
Was it significant? Because I don't unless it was like $10 million, my guy. Like I do not see how you could pass up the opportunity to just walk into another ring.
I don't know.
Well, right now he's got more rings than Paul Pierce, so.
He's got one with the Celtics, one with the Lakers.
Yeah.
I know, but if he went and ran off another two more things, you could be talking about him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to get himself in a Hall of Fame conversation. He's been a triple-double machine his whole career.
I agree, but if you lock it in and you pick up 1 or 2 more rings over the next 2 years while this LeBron, AD, Kyle Kuzma, like this whole thing is going on in the Lakers, you lock yourself in.
I agree.
But if he stays with the Lakers, does he risk becoming kind of like an afterthought and people kind of forgetting he's there because you have Kuzma, LeBron, and AD?
I think that's why he left.
I think yes and no, but at the same time, what's a starting point guard? It's building resume.
He's
You
not
know what
going
I
to.
mean?
He wasn't going to start for them once they got Schroeder, though.
That's true.
And then I think he knows he's not going to start. He's going to be on the Hawks behind Trae Young, so it doesn't matter if he doesn't play defense because there's just not going to be defense played on that team.
But I also think half the reason they got Schroeder is because they obviously knew before any one of us knew that probably wasn't going to work out. You know what I mean? I think they might not have even gone after a guy like Schroeder if they knew they were going to have Rondo back.
That's a great point.
Maybe Rondo just also wants to be like a mentor now, and it's just like, you know what? Fuck it, I made a good chunk of money, got a couple rings. I like Trae Young. I'm going to mentor him.
Why not? Why not? And I know in the Eastern Conference, it's going to be a much easier time than in the West.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like he blew up a good situation there.
He did.
Mhm.
I thought he would have gone to a team like the Heat, who were just, knocking on the door and could use a veteran because the Heat have a lot of talent, but it's like, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and Duncan Robinson, who are very inexperienced. And then obviously you have Jimmy Butler, but he's not a point guard.
No, I agree. If he got flipped to a team like that who was a contender, you know what I mean? It would have made more sense to me because then you get the money boost. You're still competitive. You're still doing this. You're still adding to your legacy. But you're talking about him being an afterthought in the Lakers. At least you're an afterthought on something relevant. He's just going to be an afterthought altogether now because the Atlanta Hawks aren't going anywhere.
Would you personally, both of you, would you rather be a backup on the Lakers or a starter for the Hawks?
I think he would have been a starter on the Lakers.
No, I'm asking what you would rather do.
Like, am I like a 6-man? Am I getting minutes?
Yeah, 6-man for the Lakers or like starting point guard for the Atlanta Hawks?
What year am I
all
in?
day?
Good question.
Yeah,
Good question.
that's big.
All right, I didn't think this far ahead.
I'm sorry, you asked me these kinds of questions. I'm going to start being like, well, what am I looking at? Where am I at in my career,
Yeah, but honestly, I'd probably pick the 6-man.
Okay.
I think I'm going to be a fool and try to turn the Hawks around.
Vince Carter tried, I think. I think that's why he went there.
Vince Carter was also like 40 bajillion years old.
Yeah, he just wanted to play.
Yeah. I mean, if it gets but like again, it's not like that's Rondo's situation. He could have stayed with the Lakers. He could have went a bunch of other places. He chose the Hawks probably because it was the most money. Because I know that's what he was talking about. He just wanted to maximize his money. He thought he's done a lot. But I don't know, man.
I mean, that's why he couldn't go to the Heat because the Heat signed Bam to an extension and Dragic to an extension. Do we think the Heat are going to be back in the finals next year?
I do.
You do?
Yeah, because I know the Bucks are the favorite in the East, and the Nets are probably right there. But I look at the Heat as scrappy, playing with a chip on their shoulder because no one ever talks about them. Bucks, they got to prove it to me in the playoffs. The last couple years, they've been great in the regular season, have not been able to do in the playoffs. And then, the Nets, the health of Kyrie and the egos worries me.
No, yeah, I would agree with you. And my only idea on that is just that I'm not quite sure if that Tyler here, like, it's the same thing kind of with Jamal Murray, like the bubble guys. I don't know if they went off in the bubble and then it's going to come back to not being that, or if it's really for real. So I think it all depends on how Tyler Hero comes out in the next season, not out of his bubble kind of shot that he had.
Right.
I think that's where I might not see them in the finals. Other than that, I really like that team. I think they have a lot of good building blocks. I think Jimmy Butler's kind of the glue to bring those building blocks together, and I think they have a lot of talent. But if they don't have like a Tyler Hero to take eyes off Jimmy, because Jimmy was trying to do that all himself in the finals, you know what I mean? I think a lot of it depends on if Tyler Hero is real or if we had just a Bowl moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the same is true of Duncan Robinson, too. You got to see if he can sustain it for a full season.
It should be an interesting season this year.
Definitely interesting. You have some teams like the Knicks and the Bulls and whoever else didn't make the bubble have over 200 days of rest, and then you have the Lakers and the Heat with less than 80, like 70-plus days.
Yeah.
I think the team that I think is actually going to win the East is the Boston Celtics. I think Tatum has taken that next step. He's going to be a star. I know Kemba's going to miss part of the season with a knee injury. He's going to miss the first month or so. But I think once he's fully healthy, I don't know. I just think Brad Stevens is just such a good coach that they're going to figure it out.
I forgot about the Celtics. I'm not going to lie.
I'd still take Miami over that, though,
Really?
if Tyler Hero pans out.
I think it's going to be the Celtics, or maybe, honestly, maybe the Bucks. This might be the year that Giannis, now he's got Drew Holiday. Maybe it works.
I know. I just feel like the Bucks can never finish. I
Yeah.
feel like they come in and everyone's afraid of them, and then when it gets to the playoffs, when it gets to the big games, they just fall apart and they can't handle it.
They're the regular season superheroes that lose their powers in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you saw it again this year.
All right, we got some hot takes. Anybody?
Not really.
No.
Honestly.
All right, my one hot take I was telling Chris earlier. I think this is the year Steph Curry wins his third MVP. I think he's going to come back angry that everybody wrote off the Warriors because of all their injuries. He doesn't have Clay. He doesn't have Kevin Durant. Draymond's out for now. He might be out for a while. He's going to put the team on his back. Look, they got Wiggins, who is, Wiggins didn't turn into what we thought he was going to be with the number 1 overall pick, but Wiggins is an NBA player. Kelly Oubre's okay. This guy, James Wiseman, the 2nd overall pick, he's a good big man. They have players around him, and I think Steph Curry's going to shine MVP season, carry them to maybe the 4th seed. I think it's going to go Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Warriors.
Really? You have them making the playoffs?
I have them making the playoffs.
And not as the 8th seed?
No, I have them comfortably in the playoffs. I also think Luka's going to probably be in that conversation, and the Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
Dallas is going to be the 5 seed solely because of Luka. I just don't think there's enough players around him because KP's good.
But
KP
he
can't stay healthy.
KP, he's injury prone.
Exactly.
If KP could just stay healthy, I would say those two might be except for LeBron AD, might be the most dangerous tandem
Duo
in the league. Because KP is just so good for his size. You don't see someone that size do the things, have the shots, have the ability to move around like him. I think those two could be a very, very dangerous combination. But KP can't stay healthy for more than a month.
And that's why we called him the unicorn.
Honestly, as much as we all hated it when it happened, when he got traded, I think the Knicks came out on top in that trade. Even though they didn't do anything with it, they're not putting the resources into him and wasting it.
Yeah, that's fair, but I still think that if he was on them right now, they'd be better than what they have.
I agree, but I think in the long run, it kind of would lead to another Carmelo situation where it didn't really do anything to us, used the capital, whether it's free agency, draft, whatever, to try to push to build a team around him, and it just didn't go anywhere.
Speaking of Melo, he re-signed to Portland, and they're another team I'm very high on this year. I said Steph's going to win the MVP, but I would not be surprised if Dame Lillard challenges him for it.
Do you think Dame's actually going to get the respect he needs?
I think this year he's going to go nuclear, and I think even if they don't win every single game, he's going to be averaging 35 a game. He's going to put it all on his back. They added Robert Covington from the Rockets, Rocco, great defensive player, and that's always been their weakness. They got rid of Whiteside, who, although Whiteside is a good player, he's always been a pain in the ass. If they have a healthy Nurkic and Zach Collins, I believe, then they will actually have two big men.
They also got Cantor too for bench player.
There you go, another former Knick. I
can't stand this Cantor.
I think the Blazers can definitely make the 6th or 7th seed in the West.
I don't know why I can't stand Enes Kanter either. I just, for some reason, I see his face and it just looks very punchable.
Hey, some people got that face.
Yeah, I think as far as I got, that's my takes on basketball. But I'm not the basketball guy of the group.
We could definitely have more basketball talk. I'm just we did a lot of football. It took the wind out of my sail.
We'll bring, once we have some real meaningful basketball to watch, we'll be able to get back into that a little more.
We'll go home, watch some basketball, do our homework. All you
Take
watching,
some notes.
everyone listening to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Anchor FM, be sure to take your notes. We'll all discuss.
We'll have it going. All right, guys. So this is episode 33 now. We got Devin back. It was
Great
beautiful.
Patrick Ewing, 33.
Three. All right, so Chris Gray, Eric Mincer, and Devin motherfucking Mitchell. We are the Basement Boys. See ya.
Deuces.
Stay positive and test negative.
Welcome to the basement.